Hello, my name is Joshua Brown from the Aptitude testing website, howtobecome.com, and in this tutorial, I'll teach you how to pass any job aptitude test, and I'll provide you with plenty of practice questions of all difficulties. So it doesn't matter if you're new to these types of questions or not, because if you're already familiar, I'll also be sharing some of the hardest questions you'll ever come across. So if you have a psychometric or aptitude exam coming up, then please make sure you stick around to the end, as I'll help you to pass with ease. To achieve that goal, this is what I'll cover. I'll break down the different types of psychometric and aptitude test questions that will come up during your exam that I strongly recommend you prepare for, including patterns, sequences, rotation, spatial and inductive reasoning, numerical reasoning, data interpretation, verbal ability, and also verbal reasoning. I'll also provide you with step-by-step instructions on how to tackle job aptitude test questions. I'll also give you essential tips to help you to pass your psychometric or aptitude test at the very first attempt. And I'll also give you 34 brilliant example questions for you to try live on screen. Plus, at the end of the video, I'll also provide you with 3 of the toughest IQ and aptitude test questions that only the top 1% can answer. Can you? And just very quickly, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I want to help you to pass your aptitude test, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. And please don't forget to hit that like button, because this tells me you find these tutorials useful. Before we dive straight into the practice questions, we have a lot to get through today, and the order we are going to do them in is specifically designed to warm you up and get you ready to be able to answer the more challenging aptitude questions near the end of the video. And there are really some challenging ones there. So once you have mastered these, you'll be far more likely to pass any aptitude or psychometric assessment that you face. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the first aptitude test practice question, which is this: what number comes next in the sequence? Now, before I show you that sequence, this first set of aptitude test questions that we're going to focus on are really common psychometric questions. They aren't too challenging, and they're going to set you up for more challenging questions that will come next in this tutorial. So these are a great way to start. And like I say, they are very common. So the numbers in the sequence are 13, 16, 22, 31, 34, 40, and then what comes next. That's your job. You have to work out which number comes next in this sequence. Now, mastering sequences is critical if you want to answer tougher psychometric or aptitude reasoning questions with ease. So have a go at this question yourself. You have 10 seconds to work it out with no multiple choice answers. We'll then go through how easy it is to answer these questions together. So give it a go yourself first of all. Here we go. How did you get on? Did you spot the pattern the sequence follows? Well, once you see it, it's actually really quite simple. Each number increases like this. We start off by plussing 3. We then add 6. The sequence then adds 9. From there, we revert back to going in additions of 3, then plus 6, and then finally plus 9 to give us our answer. So 40 plus 9 will give us the answer of 49. So now it's your turn. Please put your answers to the questions in the comment section below the video for marking, where I will get back to you. And if you do need to pause the video, then do so for now, as I'd much rather you understand the question and take the time you need to get it right, as you can improve your answering speed by practicing more questions just like this. And remember, I will tell you where you can get plenty of practice questions later on in this video. So, what number comes next in the sequence? 3, 21, 147, 1029, 7203, and 50,421. What is the next number in that sequence? You have 12 seconds this time on the timer, starting now. Brilliant, you're doing really well. Stick with me and keep it up. Remember, these are a great way to warm up your mind for the next set of questions to come in this video. So, what number comes next in the sequence? This is the sequence. You have 12 seconds on that timer, starting now. Okay, last one before we move on to some really tough logical reasoning question types. What number comes next in the sequence? Here we go. 12 seconds on that timer, starting now. Brilliant, well done. We're going to move on now, but remember, put your answers in that comment section below the video where I will get back to you with the correct answers, and if you need any help, let me know there. We're now going to look at the next aptitude test question type that many people really struggle with, and that is inductive reasoning. So question 5 is this: which tile completes the sequence? Here is that sequence. Is the answer A, B, C, or D? Now, if you've not seen a question like this before, then it can look really quite confusing. Now, my advice before you answer this question is to utilize the sequence skill set that we just learned. But remember, the sequence may not be all the tiles as a whole, and instead, it could just be a sequence per tile. So give it a go yourself, and then we'll walk through it together. You have 12 seconds on that timer, starting now. You're doing fantastic so far, well done for sticking with these questions. I know they can be tough. How did you get on with that one? Well, this question type can be tricky. The sequence here is in each individual tile, it's the colours. So each coloured line has a value. Green equals 1, yellow equals 2, and blue equals 3. Therefore, the correct answer should have been A. If you need to pause the video there or rewind it and rewatch that to really understand it, please do so, because this is really important. These type of questions are really going to help boost your scores at your next aptitude test. So now it is your turn. Please put your answers to questions 6 and 7 in the comment section below the video. For marking, I'll get back to you. And again, if you do need to pause that video, then please do so for now, as I would much rather you understand the question and take the time you need to get it right. You can focus on improving your speed with plenty more practice questions later on. Okay, let's get into the questions. Question 6, which tile completes the pattern? Here's that pattern, and here are your answer options: A, B, C, or D. You have 12 seconds on the timer, starting now. Great, let's move on to question 7. Which tile completes the pattern? Is it A, B, C, or D? 12 seconds on the timer, starting now. You're doing fantastic, keep it up. The next question category I want to cover is called verbal ability. Now, for questions categorized as verbal ability tests, you will be required to answer some basic English language test questions. Now, these questions test a candidate's basic understanding and grammar ability of basic English language terms. So the question is this: fill in the blank places to create a 9-letter word. Start at the top right and then move clockwise, finishing in the center. Here's that grid with those letters in it. You need to fill in the blanks. So you have 12 seconds on the timer, starting now. How did you get on? Well, to work this question out, we simply need to start with the top right hand letter as stated in the question, which is O. Then we need to move in a clockwise order around the square, filling in the missing letters and ending the word in the center, just like this. So did you get it? The correct letters needed are B, E, T, and V, giving us the correct word objective. Now it is your turn. Please put your answers to the questions in the comment section below, where I will mark them and get back to you with any feedback that you need. Here we go. Question 9. Fill in the blank places to create a 9-letter word. Start at the bottom right and then move clockwise. So we're in the bottom right this time. Here's the grid. You have 12 seconds on the timer, starting now. You're doing fantastic, keep it up. Question 10. Fill in the blank places to create a 9-letter word. Start at the top right and then move anti-clockwise. Here's the grid. Your timer starts now. Okay, question 11, the last one. Fill in the blank places to create a 9-letter word. Start at the bottom right and then move clockwise. 12 seconds on your timer starts now. Great, well done. Now don't go anywhere, make sure you stick around as I have plenty more psychometric and aptitude testing questions and answers to give you, including some of the hardest aptitude questions you will ever face near the end of this tutorial. But when you are ready, click that link in the top right hand corner and head through to my website howtobecome.com, where you can access thousands of aptitude test questions, including the ones we're covering right now, plus the fully worked answers and strategies to pass each question type to make you the standout candidate. These are suitable for all assessments, whether it's for a job, an entrance test for a college, or a graduate scheme. So let's move on to the next question type, which is verbal reasoning. So during your aptitude exam, you'll be required to sit a verbal reasoning test. Now during your actual verbal reasoning test, you will have a specific amount of time to answer each question. You will need to read through the exact extract very carefully and answer the questions that follow. So let's take a look at an example extract and then some questions. Here's the extract. Jane and her husband, Michael, run the bakery in the village of Westdale. Their son, James, also works in the bakery. He works in the bakery every day except Tuesday and Thursday. James's cousin, Julie, works at the supermarket, which is 4 miles away from Westdale. James also works at the local supermarket on the days he isn't working at the bakery. Julie works 5 days a week but never works in the supermarket on the same day as James. Now to answer this type of verbal reasoning or comprehension style question, you must be able to demonstrate that you can accurately interpret and remember data within the passage. So make sure you take your time to read. Accuracy is most important. It's quite often better to not finish answering all the questions and be more accurate in the questions that you do answer than to try and answer every question but get multiple wrong. That could make you fail. So let's try a question based on this passage. The question is this: what are Julie's days off? Is it Wednesday and Thursday, Tuesday and Thursday, Saturday and Sunday, Monday and Tuesday, or you cannot say? So how do we answer this question? Well, when it comes to questions like this, it involves a simple process of elimination. In the first paragraph, it states that James works in his parents' bakery every day other than Tuesdays and Thursdays, so we know he doesn't work there on a Tuesday or a Thursday. In the second paragraph, we are told that on the days that James isn't working at the bakery, he works at the same supermarket as his cousin Julie. We also find out that Julie works 5 days a week in the supermarket, but never on the same days as James. Therefore, Julie's 2 days off must be Tuesdays and Thursdays, as these are the only days that James works at the supermarket himself. So let's now take a look at another question. So the correct answer is Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let's now take a look at another question based on this passage. As we've had a bit of a warm up now, we'll add even more information to the passage this time. The final bit to the passage is this. Sam, Julie's brother, works in the pharmacy, which is on the opposite side of the street to the supermarket. Sam, Julie and their parents Mike and Myra live next door to James's parents. If you need to pause the video, do that now, have a quick read through, and we're going to work through this question again together. So the question is this: Mike and Myra live in Westdale. Is that true, false, or you cannot say? So how do we answer the question this time? Well, again, it's all about the process of elimination. In the final paragraph, we are told that Mike and Myra live next door to James's parents. And in the first paragraph, it stated that James is the son of Jane and Michael, who run a bakery in Westdale. Therefore, whilst we know that they are next door neighbours, we cannot say that they live in Westdale, because we cannot assume that just because Jane and Michael run a bakery in Westdale, that they also live there. And that's really important. You must always take what you see here in the written context as factual, and you can't make assumptions or jump to conclusions. If it's not there, don't make an assumption. The correct answer is cannot say. Okay, once again, now it's your turn before we really put all of these new skills you've been learning today to the test in the sections to come in this tutorial. Make sure you put your answers to these questions in the comment section below for marking, where I'll get back to you. Here we go, here's that passage. Question 15 is this: although dressing up your dog in a costume may appear to us as harmless fun, dog behavioural analysts are now suggesting that this may not be the case. Dr. Sarah Pullman, animal behavioural specialist at the University of Southmore, has spoken out, urging pet owners across the country to not indulge in the novelty outfits. She stated that it was not only a safety hazard, but potentially very stressful. A study carried out in Wales found that when dogs were put into a novelty costume, they tended to be easily agitated and considerably more inclined to bark and in some cases bite their owners. Dr. Pullman says that it's a lovely thing to involve your pets in celebrations, but it's all about doing it in the right way. In her article, she goes on to suggest that dog-friendly themed treats are an excellent, safe way to keep your dogs part of the celebrations. So here's the question based on that passage. Dr. Pullman suggests seasonal dog biscuits as an alternative to costumes. Is that true, false, or you cannot say based on that information there? Now you have 10 seconds on the timer starting now. Great, let me know your answer in the comment section below. Question 16, based on that same passage, is this. Most dogs in costumes become more agitated. Is that true, false, or you cannot say? You have 10 seconds on the timer, starting now. Okay, one more question based on this. Dr. Pullman's interview is about Halloween costumes for dogs. Is that true, false, or you cannot say? You have 10 seconds on that timer, starting now. Okay, let's move on to the next question type, and that is spatial reasoning questions. So the next question is this. Which tile is next in the sequence? Here's that sequence. And here are your answer options, A, B, C, or D. Now before I give you my top tips for answering this question, give it a go yourself. Don't worry if you don't get it, we're going to go through the answer together as we have been doing, and I'll also give you my top tips for scoring highly. So you have 12 seconds on that timer, starting now. That was tricky, right? How did you get on? Well, don't worry if you didn't get it, as I'm going to cover how to get the answer and I'm going to give you some top tips right now. So to work out aptitude questions like this spatial awareness one out, try to look for the pattern in the grid before looking for the correct answer option. Remember, the question clearly states that it's a sequence. That means we need to look for a pattern as the sequence moves through, just like this. You can see we finally end up at that question mark, that missing piece of the sequence. Now remember to look for patterns on each individual object in each segment, and in particular how they rotate. More often than not, you're going to be looking for some sort of rotation, alternating pattern, or colour changes. But often, rotation is the most common change in questions like these. So in this question, the correct answer could be worked out by observing the rotation of the triangles by colour. For example, we can see that the orange triangle rotates 30 degrees anti-clockwise each time as we move through the grid. The blue triangle rotates 60 degrees anti-clockwise. Therefore, the correct answer is A. Now, if you need to pause the video, as I've mentioned before, or rewind it to give it another go, please do so, as I want you to fully understand this before moving on, as it will really help you master some aptitude assessments. The questions left in this tutorial are only going to get harder, so please make sure you really focus on this and master it. When you're ready, let's move on and take a look at some of these questions again under timed conditions. Again, make sure you put your answers in the comment section below where I will get back to you. Thank you. Question 19. Which tile comes next in the sequence? Here's the sequence, and here are the answer options, A, B, C, and D. You have 12 seconds, starting now. You're doing fantastic. Let's move on to the next one. Question 20. Which tile completes the sequence? Here's the sequence, and you have A, B, C, or D answer options to choose from. 12 seconds starts now. Super stuff. We're now going to move on to some logical reasoning test questions. So this question type is all about understanding the basics of movement in degrees and some very basic math. This understanding of degrees is essential for working out trickier logical reasoning questions. So give this question a go for yourself, and then we'll go through a cheat sheet on how to answer these questions in seconds, and I mean that in seconds. So the question is this. Peter's flight leaves Los Angeles International Airport at 4 p.m. The flight to Hawaii takes 6 hours. How many degrees will the short hour hand have turned when Peter arrives in Hawaii? Here are your answer options. Is it A, 180 degrees, B, 260 degrees, C, 1080 degrees, or D, 160 degrees? Now you have 6 seconds on the timer, yes, just 6 seconds, because it really is easy to answer once you know that cheat sheet that I'm going to share with you. So your 6 seconds starts now. Did you get it? Well, to work it out, it's actually really simple when you know how. There are just 2 simple steps to follow. So here is that calculation. Step 1. Calculate how many degrees a 1 hour movement is on the short hour hand. So this is the short hour hand, and we need to work out a 1 hour movement, which would take us to 5 in this example. But that doesn't really matter. We just know a 1 hour movement is from one number to the next number. We also know that 360 degrees is a full turn of a circle, or in this case, a full turn of the clock. So to calculate how many degrees a 1 hour movement is on a short hand or the minute hand, from going from 12 to 1 or 1 to 2, 4 to 5 for example, all we have to do is a very simple calculation. Because we know there are 12 hours in a 360 degree turn. So 360 divided by 12 gives us 30 degrees. So we know each turn from one digit to the next equals 30 degrees. So you can remember that. Step 2 is very simple. We just need to take those 30 degrees and multiply it by 6 hours, because that's how long Peter's flight takes from LA to Hawaii. So from 4 o'clock to 10 p.m. That's 6 hours, so 6 p.m. to 10 p.m, 30 degrees times by 6 equals 180 degrees. Therefore, the answer is simply A, 180 degrees. So now you know that calculation, let's take a look at answering these questions yourself. Again, put your answers in the question section below. If you need to pause the video at any point, please do so. I want you to really get these right and smash these answers. Let's move on to the questions. So question 22, Mary catches the 7:55 a.m. bus to work each morning. The bus journey takes 35 minutes. She then walks an extra 10 minutes to get to work. How many degrees will the minute hand, have turned when Mary gets to work? Is it A, 220 degrees, B, 250 degrees, C, 270 degrees, or D, 60 degrees? You have 6 seconds on that timer. And remember, before I start this timer, this question involves using the minute hand instead of the hour hand. The same formula applies, so just give it your best shot. Let's go. Brilliant, let's try another one. Colin is making an apple pie. The recipe says it will take 25 minutes to bake. He put the cake in the oven at 4:55 p.m. How many degrees will the long minute hand have turned when the cake is ready to take out the oven? So here's the clock. Is it the answer A, 160 degrees, B, 240 degrees, C, 190 degrees, or D, 150 degrees? 6 seconds on the timer, starting now. Great, let's take a look at another one. Question 24 is this. Oliver has 3 pet dogs that need walking every morning. Every day he starts his walk at 9:15 a.m. and he walks for 2 hours. How many degrees will the long minute hand have turned when he finishes the walk? Is it A, 630, B, 810, C, 560, or D, 720 degrees? Let's start the 6-minute timer now. So those were some really good logical reasoning questions for you to try. We're going to now tackle some numerical reasoning or math-based questions. We will start off with this very basic arithmetic question to warm you up. The cost of Linda's grocery bill has gone up from $95 per week to $112 per week. How much extra is Linda paying per year? Is it A, $930, B, $475, C, $714, D, $884, or is it E, $727? Now, when dealing with numerical questions like these, first work out the key information you need. So first off, work out the difference in her grocery bills. We need to pick out that $95 and subtract it from $112 to be left with $17. Now, you need to calculate how much extra they are paying per year. As there are 52 weeks in the year, you need to multiply 17 by 52 weeks to reach your answer of $884. So the correct answer is answer option D. So now give this question a go yourself. Ben's favourite restaurant opens at 7:30 AM and closes at 10:30 PM. During the working day, they close twice, once between 10:30 AM and 12:30 AM, and once between 4 PM and 6 PM. If the restaurant is open 6 days per week for 4 weeks, how many hours will the restaurant have been open for? Now remember, pick out the key information that you need. I've tried to put certain things in bold to help you here, but you'll find many numerical reasoning questions involve very basic and simple arithmetic calculations to work out. However, they will bombard you with information, and that's where many people get lost and confused. Here are your answer options. Is it A, 212 hours, B, 264 hours, C, 120 hours, D, 195 hours, or E, 247 hours? I'm going to give you 12 seconds to work this out, starting now. How did you get on? Well, please put your answer in the comment section below where I'll mark it for you. Okay, let's move on to a similar numerical format style that is used in many job math tests. So this one here is Morgan enters his local store and purchases a bunch of bananas for $2.20. He receives 15% off his final purchase and pays with a $5 bill. How much change does Morgan receive? Is it A, $3.13, B, $4.19, C, $2.90, or is it D, $3.49, or is it E, $2.95? Well, this may be a simple arithmetic question type, but we're focusing on percentages here, and I know many people struggle with percentages. So to work this out, we first need to work out 15% of $2.20. Okay, and to do that, it's a very simple formula. To do it, all we need to do is take $2.20 and divide it by 100. We then take that answer and times it by 15 to get 33 cents. Therefore, all we need to do is minus 33 cents from $2.20, which gives us $1.87. Therefore, the final part of this calculation is simply taking that $5 that he paid with and minusing the $1.87. That gives us a total of $3.13. That makes the correct answer option A. Now, try a question yourself. Question 28. Catherine signed up to a video streaming site in April for a fee of $7.99 a month. For customers who continue to use their services for over 6 months, receive a 20% discount on their monthly fee. In November, how much will Catherine pay for her monthly subscription? Is it A, $5.31, B, $5.83, C, $6.39, D, $4.18, or is it E, $6.45? Well, you have 12 seconds to work this out using the calculation I've just shared with you, starting now. How did you get on? Well, please put your answer in the comment section below where I'll mark it for you. Let's try another question, but this time we're going to look at some numerical reasoning practice questions with visual graphs and tables. These numerical question types are known as data interpretation tests. So here is the question. Below is a pie chart that shows the shoe colour of people in a survey. Here is that pie chart. And the question is this: if 4 people have red shoes, how many people have black shoes? Is the answer option A, 4, B, 6, C, 8, D, 10, or E, 12? Now this may seem really confusing to start with, but numerical data interpretation questions look way more intimidating than they actually are. Again, they're just based off simple arithmetic calculations, which we have already looked at. The trick here is to interpret the actual data that you need. So this is what we need to do. People with red shoes we know equals 4, and we know that's 20% because the question tells us, it says if 4 people have red shoes, how many people have black shoes? So we can see 4 people have red shoes, and on the chart it says red is 20%. So we know 20% of the total amount of people have red shoes. Therefore, we can multiply 4 by 5, or in other words, 20% by 5 to get the total amount of people, 100% of people. Because the total amount of people is always going to be 100%, and we know to get to 100%, if we've got 20, we just need to times it by 5. So therefore, if we do 4 times 5, we get the total amount of people, which is 20. So we know there's 20 people in this survey. Then, to work out how many people have black shoes, all we need to do is divide 20 by 100, which gives us 0.2. And then finally, we times 0.2 by 30, because we can see the amount of people that have black shoes is 30% of people. That gives us our answer of 6. So the correct answer is answer option B, 6 people have black shoes. So now it is your turn, and if you need to rewind that and watch that again, please do so. You're doing great, and if you're still with me, stick around because I'm going to be sharing the top 3 hardest IQ and aptitude test questions very shortly that only the top 1% can answer. But before then, as before, please put your answers to the questions in the comment section below the video for marking where I'll get back to you. Thank you. Here's the question. If 26 people's favourite ice cream is hazelnut, how many people's favourite ice cream is caramel? Below is a pie chart that shows the favourite ice cream flavour of people in a survey. Here's that pie chart. Now you have 5 answer options to choose from. A, B, C, D or E. And you have 12 seconds to work this out using the same calculation that we just looked at. Here we go. Okay, let's take a look at another one. If 19 people's favourite music is rock, how many people's favourite music type is jazz? Below is a pie chart that shows the favourite music of a group of music students. Here's that pie chart. Here are your answer options. You have 12 seconds to work this out, starting now. Well done. I know many people dislike data interpretation, so that was the last one. We're now going to move on to something that's really going to put your skills to the test. So if you're still here, you've done brilliantly. The next 3 questions aren't for the faint of heart. These are 3 of the toughest IQ and aptitude test questions, especially under timed conditions. So don't worry if you don't get these right, as only the top 1% can work them out. Remember to leave your answers in that comment section below where I'll mark them for you. So let's go. Question 32 is this. Which tile completes the pattern? Here is that pattern. Is the answer option A, B, C or D? You have 12 seconds on the timer starting now. Okay, the next one is this. Question 33. Which tile completes the pattern? Here's the pattern. You have answer option A, B, C or D to choose from. I told you these are really hard. Give it your best shot. You have 12 seconds starting now. Here is the final one of the 3 tough IQ and aptitude test questions for you to answer. Which tile completes the pattern? Here we go. Is it A, B, C or D? 12 seconds starts now. Okay, you have done absolutely brilliantly, and the next thing to do is please make sure you click that button in the top right hand corner of this video right now. Head through to my website howtobecome.com where you can get access to thousands of job aptitude test questions and the fully worked answers to each question. You can literally have access within 2 minutes from now online, and it's guaranteed to help you prepare effectively for your psychometric and aptitude tests, and also, more importantly, put you ahead of the competition. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe, as I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible pass their aptitude tests and job interviews, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. Please also hit that like button, as that encourages me to make more videos just like this one. And if you have any questions regarding any aptitude test, please feel free to put these in the comment section below, where I'll get back to you. And finally, if you'd like to connect with me on LinkedIn, I've put my LinkedIn link in the description below. It's always great to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best for your assessment. Have a great day.